How's it going, everyone? Just want to go over the exotic armor pieces for the Titan class. Trying to make it short and sweet for you, best I can, to go over each of them, let you know if they're good, bad, or worth the time to even invest for focusing with your Engrams. So let's get right into it. So for the Insurmountable Skull Fort, I think this one's actually super good if you use it the right way. So kills with an arc melee ability trigger health regen and restore melee energy. So you can almost fully cycle your punches with Titan. With the arc punches, you can charge it up, do a big hit melee. You can basically do an infinite melee hit with this helmet. So it's also really good for that health regen. So it's pretty good for, I'd say, like lost sectors and maybe for raids and such in dungeons. I don't think it'd be the best for raid boss DPS, as it's only really gonna be used for ad clear and such. But it's good for survivability. It's a good kind of decent, like pretty good one. I wouldn't say it's the best, but I say it's pretty decent. You could use it if you have a high stat roll one. Mask of the Quiet Run, not really viable at the moment. It doesn't grant enough ability energy, and then the health regen isn't really that critical for this, so I would say pass on this. Peppery's Horn, this thing was bugged a little while ago. Your solo final blows recharge your barricade. Not bad. Your class ability kind of comes up all the time anyways. So it also only scorches. If this ignites, that would be awesome. But this thing is not bad for a universal one. If you wanted to use it with Strand, it's not bad. But you're probably better off just using it with solar, but there's probably better solar options currently, so I wouldn't recommend that one. Helm of State 14, targets that enter the ward of Dawn are blinded, while allies pass through gain a void overshield. Not bad, not crazy though. I think it's more defensive. You don't really need it. Guarding with your Sentinel shield blinds nearby enemies, so it's a free blind, so it does take care of unstoppable. So not bad, not great though. So I would say probably a down vote on that one also. Eternal Warrior, this one was recently changed also. So you gain an overshield when activating Fist of Havoc and gain the highest tier damage stat, which is the 4x one, when your Fist of Havoc super ends. So Fist of Havoc roaming super isn't the greatest. Unless they buff roaming supers more, this won't be used. Once they're buffed, it might be used. I would say more like a foe tracer kind of thing. One-eyed mask, I wouldn't even use it. Your overshield isn't that important, and you're better off just not using this. Oh, wrong one. Precious Scars. Final blows of weapons with a damage type matching your subclass create a burst of healing. Again, more healing is not bad. But after being revived, you gain aura that provides overshields. It's maybe PvP, not really gonna be the best for anything else. I would kind of stay away from this one also. Oops, there you go. Lorelei's Splendor Helm looks absolutely insane. Love the look at this one. This one looks awesome. You could probably put in like a nice RGB one here to make everything look really cool. So not bad. Sorry, wrong one. But when you critically wounded with full class ability energy, or when you cast Barricade, you create a sunspot at your location. So sunspot's always really nice, keep you alive. Right now the current, this actually wouldn't be bad for Strand if Syntheseps wasn't busted. So when Syntheseps gets changed, this might be not bad for survivability. Because when you're critically wounded, you may not have banners left, so it's not bad. But currently Strand Titan is super busted for healing without banners, so it kind of takes this thing away, and Solar Titan takes this away. So if they nerf some of the survivability, this would then kind of come back in as a good option. It sucks because it's really cool looking. So not great so far on these exotics. Diamond Lances create stasis crystals on impact. Stasis Titan is not the greatest of the stasis options. It may be better next season with some of the stasis changes. But see, until then, I would say hold back from this one also, as it's not going to really be the best. The Diamond Lance actually is pretty nice, but this one would be used for stasis, but it's not really the best. If you're using stasis, I would say. If you're using stasis, this isn't a bad one to use, but you probably have some better options. ACDO Feedback Fence. I like the look of this one also, and it has potential. The only issue is I think this should be taking damage causes you to emit a burst of damage arc energy rather than taking melee, because a lot of the time you don't really take melee damage unless maybe you're Strand in a lot of melee combat. So this actually isn't that bad. It just takes your armor charge. So like melee hits grant armor charge, and then you take less melee damage while you have armor charges. So it makes you more tanky. If they nerf Syntheseps enough, then I would say switch this onto Strand Titan and do pretty well with it. As a nice jolt option. It would give Strand that kind of build. But other than that, it's not really going to be the best, I would say, currently. It has the potential to be pretty good. Doomfang, Pauldrons. This is actually pretty nice, because it gives you that void, like, weapon damage again, that they're going for the damage surges and stuff, the surge mods. It gives you that super energy, so you don't really need super energy like crazy for void, as you just have your bubble, really, and your roaming super isn't really that great, Sentinel Shield, compared to other ones, so not bad for Hordes of Doom. So say this is pretty good, but definitely useful. Syntheseps, I wish they were a little better looking. They do have some, I think they have some ornaments and stuff. They look all right, but they are busted right now. So if you're running a Solar Titan, they're insane. If you're running Strand Titan can solo. Yeah, if you have 3 Strand Solo Titans, you can run, or sorry, 3 Strand Titans, you put them all into a Grandmaster Nightfall, you can get you get the Nightfall done in about like 10 minutes, rather than like 15-30 minutes. You can just stomp through. You don't even really need anti-barrier. I mean, only thing I would say is anti-overload. Other than that, like, you can just stomp through. So, Syntheseps are kind of the best currently. They're absolutely insane. So, definitely recommend those for all sorts of content, especially if you're running Strand Titan for boss damage. Aeon Safe. A great class to use Aeons or Titans. So if you're running, say, a Arc Titan, not a bad build to run Aeons to give yourself some ammo for everybody. So definitely put the Selective Insight on. This would be very helpful for Strand Titans. Strand Titans can do it in raid, because you don't really need Syntheseps for that big of damage unless you're doing boss damage, but you can always switch. So if you need ammo for your team, Titans should switch over. Hunters, I think, are probably the best for it, but they're not bad. Ashen Wake. Fusion grenades will explode on impact and grant increased throw speed. Final blows with fusion grenades grant grenade. So if you like your grenade throws, you can use this. I would probably say you're probably better off running Armamentarium instead for the grenade stuff, but they're not bad. But most time you don't really use your fusion grenades on Titan. You're most time focus on your melees and stuff with Titan build and stuff. So not the best, wouldn't recommend. Worm God Caress, melee kills increase melee damage for a short time, additional kills extend duration, increase effects. They're weirdly looking, but it's actually not that bad. If they nerf Syntheseps enough, this may be decent. But it's all right, I would say. It's it's an all right build, so it might be decent for Strand eventually. Ursa's Furiosa. Move faster while guarding with shield is active. Guard damage prevents super energy when the super ends. Yeah, don't even use these. They're not good yet. They need to be changed. They're gonna need to replace those. Strongholds. This was used a lot during Crota's day 1, as you can just walk around and tank Crota for basically the whole time. So you can just guard and just deal with distracting him the whole time. Not bad ones for defensive, but you won't really use them for anything else. Swords still aren't really meta to where you could walk around with a sword in Nightfalls or anything else, really. So I wouldn't really recommend using these for most things, but rare situations, not bad. Titan's Ramparts. Assault Barricade. You and your allies can shoot through your towering barricade. I think this is pretty nice for PvP. It kind of jukes people out a little bit, because they're not used to being able to shoot. A lot of people, when they see a barricade, they're used to it being, you have to jump around it or shoot around it, but you can shoot right through it. Pretty nice. Also increases the increased cooldown, reduces health and duration, so not bad, because they kind of nerf barricades anyway, so you might as well just shoot through it in the meantime, just to do some things in PvP. PvE, I wouldn't use it. Not really gonna be that great. Icefall Mantles. They don't look that bad. Stasis Final Blows have a chance to grant escalating bonus to weapon damage. This is the focus again on the weapon surges. Replaces your barricade with personal overshield, which isn't that bad either, because it depends on how you're using your barricades. But you get that stasis weapon surge. So next season, they may have stasis as the primary weapons, so this may be decent. I just don't think it's going to be that crazy unless you have for stasis, you can use grenade kickstarts instead to help your grenades uptime for a build, and then this will take care of the surges. So it could be good, but I don't think it'll be that crazy. No backup plan. If you love shotguns, this is the way to do it. Rapid shotgun, final blows, and defeating power components with the shotgun will grant you a void overshield. So basically, you can run around with a rapid fire shotgun and go crazy while using a void subclass. So it can basically just give you a permanent overshield. So it's good survivability. It's not bad. If you really like shotguns, this is the way to go. If you don't like shotguns, I wouldn't use it. Second chance. I think this is the best item right now for void titans, as you get a second charge of your shield throw, and then it now weakens targets and becomes shield piercing anti-barrier. So it weakens targets, which is awesome for the damage increase, and then it stuns them. So if you really like running Void Titan for Grandmaster, Nightfalls, Lost Sectors, whatever, this is the one I'd recommend to use. You take care of anti-barriers, and then you get the melee charge, and it helps you weaken targets. So you're better off just running 2 kickstarts for your melee, and then just having your melee up all day long every time. I would build still high discipline, but throw everything else into well, I guess you can build high strength too. You can build high strength throughout the kickstarts and just go crazy with your melees. So wouldn't be that bad. So second chance, pretty good. Point brace, cannon brace. If you like doing the punchy punch thunderclap arc build, this is really good. It's probably one of the strongest ones for Lost Sectors and dungeons. It won't do much for boss damage, but it's pretty good for everything else. So it restores your melee energy, and you can basically just punch and destroy things with high charge damage. Wouldn't be good for PvP though, only for PvE. Pyro Gauntlets, the new Season 22 ones. These are actually insane. I wouldn't recommend running this normally. I would swap to this. So I would say run Syntheseps, and then right before you do boss damage or whatever, switch to this, do your Burning Maul, and then switch back to your Syntheseps after your damage phase or whatnot. So don't run around with these all the time, even though they look really cool. I would definitely say switch to these, do your big ass hit, do all your damage in that phase, and then after the DPS phase, say you're on Crota or something, run away, put your Synthesis back on, and then go back into combat and stuff. These would only be good for like just doing the big hit with your Burning Maul, so you can switch to another weapon and do more damage. Crest of Alpha Lupi generates additional orb of power from supers and a healing pulse when grenade is active. If you're having issues with survivability, sure, it's not going to be, again, it's based off of the supers. So you have to use a roaming super, really. It's not good, needs to be changed. Wouldn't recommend it. Axiom Rig. This one actually isn't bad because it works with auto rifles and machine guns. So if you're running a Thunderlord, you could do it. You can just kind of go crazy with it. Not bad for PvP. The stupidest thing with this thing is, I always forget the name of it because it's so toxic. Where are we at with it? There it is, Sweet Business. You can run Sweet Business PvP and be the absolute troll if you want to. Whenever people hear this thing heating up in PvP, they get so pissed. This thing is extremely toxic to run around in PvP, but if you like being a troll and then you can do it in PvP, be my guest. That would be the kind of, this is usually what people use this for, is with that or Thunderlord. But if you're not running either of those 2 weapons, I wouldn't run Warwick. Hollow-Fire Heart, solar takedowns while standing at a sunspot, create a sunspot. So sunspot, and then creates a sunspot, and then a sunspot. So you basically have unlimited healing standing in it. Currently, the melee build is really strong. Once they get rid of the bonk build with their melees, this thing may come back and be pretty good. But until then, I wouldn't use it. Armamentarium. This is actually my favorite exotic to do, like, for universal thing, because for arc, it's absolutely insane for double grenade charge, because you can get those item traces, and the grenade kickstarts, run 2 of them, and you can have this thing up all the time. Basically, you have your grenade up all the time, especially last season. You're able to just throw a grenade, and you just have unlimited, just kills everything. So, love this. I love this thing for everything besides raid encounters, as I think you should have something that's really good for boss damage if you're running arc. Like to increase your thunder crash damage and stuff. I think you should really have something designed just for that, rather than like your Caress of the Falling Star is way better. Just have the thunder crash damage. You could swap to it. You can run Armamentarium, and then when you go to boss damage, switch to this, and then switch back after boss damage. That would work really well too. But the Armamentarium is definitely one of my favorite things to use. But if you're going to use Armamentarium, you need to run 2 grenade kickstarts, or else it's not going to be optimized. It's not going to feel very good. If you're running weapon surges and it's not if you're running weapon surges and not grenade kickstarts, then I wouldn't run Armamentarium. The alternative to this swapping would be Heart of Imbos Light. as it, uses an ability and empowers the other two. So if you use a barricade, it empowers your grenade melee. It's kind of the most universal one for Arc. A lot of people use this one because it's good to just swap your abilities around, and sometimes you can have it where you can have a lot of your ability uptime. So if you, and your barricade also has a higher health total. So this is actually pretty good for universal play. If you want to be more aggressive, I'll use the Armamentarium. Or if you don't want to use grenade kickstarts, this might be a better play for you. So for Arc, I'd probably order it, and easiest to use would be Heart of Remorse Light, and then Armamentarium, and then Caress of Falling Star. This is just mainly to decrease your Thunder Crash damage. Severance, Enclosure, Power Melee, Final Blows, Unleash on Damaging Explosion. It's not bad. It's just AoE damage or whatever. They need to rework it. If it did like a weakening thing, kind of like what Warlocks got for their helmets here. So for Felwinter's helm, then yes. But other than that, not really. Caress of Falling Star just increases your Thunder Crash. So big damage. The farther you go with it, you gain an overshield. So that's kind of nice. But mainly you just use it just to hit your super, hit the boss with it. Boom, big damage. Free damage. Why not? So if you're gonna run Thunder Crash, you need to have that on, I would say, for boss damage, or swap to it or something. Horror's Frost Z, whatever. When using a stasis class, your barricade becomes a wall of stasis crystals. If you're doing a build with lances and stuff, you want more stasis crystals, this is probably the best build for stasis. Not bad. So I'd say probably this one's number 1 for stasis and the other one's second. So not bad. Give you that increased weapon reload speed and stability and range. Same thing kind of as your normal shield anyways, so pretty good. Stasis is still not the best for Titans, so we'll probably stay away from it. Arbor Warden. This one's relatively new. Using your class ability channels defensive light inward, providing a grenade that creates a barricade and impact. So you can basically throw your barricade. It's very interesting with how you can get it to work. You can throw it and have it block people's rockets and stuff in PvP, and do interesting things. Like you basically throw a wall at somebody. If they walk through it, they can, take damage and stuff. It's interesting. You'd have to do some kind of interesting things. Best thing I would say is, if you like using this, get some lineups for PvP maps and throw them over certain walls and stuff so they land in certain positions, and that way they can really get people off guard. I think that would be very helpful for this. It's not a very good item currently. It would be very situational for how you'd use it in like boss fights. Lion Rampants. These are just always good to have in your back pocket. You don't really need to recommend to upgrade them, as they're just really for maneuvering. So if you ever see people that are doing their really far jumps, they're flying through space or whatever, if you're ever gonna fly somewhere you need a lot of mobility, there's no combat, or even a little bit of combat, I guess. Just throw in Lion Rampants, fly wherever you need to, and then whenever you're done, switch them off. But they're not used for combat, so pretty good for utility, but overall, wouldn't use them. Peacekeepers, reloads, stowed machine guns. Interesting why you would need that, because some machine guns have quick reloads anyways. And then you can instantly ready them. So if you're running a submachine gun, for PvP, sure. Other than that, they shouldn't. I wouldn't use these. Submachine guns are already easily acquired and everything. If you're using one in PvP, maybe, but there's better choices that you could use instead. Like Dune Marchers are probably better. Increase your sprint speed. Get a static charge after melee attacking an enemy. That charge will chain to nearby. So not bad for your charges to get chaining. Wouldn't work very much for PvP and damage. They're not going to be the best. This one gives you MK44 stand aside. Grants an overshield when you're sprinting at full health with your charges. Overshields are nice, but they're not the end all be all, so I'd say no. Antius wards. These things are absolutely everywhere in PvP at the moment, but they improve your slide, and then you get that reflex incoming projectile. So if you're ever getting randomly run at and just charged and just destroyed and you can't do anything about it, it's because the Titans wearing these and being Arc. Peregrine Greaves. All sort of charged abilities deal bonus damage. So again, if you're also getting charged at and instantly killed without any fight at all, they're running these. These are the better option for PvP. I would say a lot of people are running these, also for the benefit of airborne effectiveness. So a lot of people are running these for Arc. If you're running Arc or not Arc Stray. Oh no, sorry, Arc only for PvP. I think that's the best build currently for Titans, and this is doing really well. Phoenix Cradle. Soul Invictus lasts twice as long. Allies who pass through your sunspot are granted Soul Invictus and Soul Restoration. So good for supporting your team. If you ever have a time where Well of Radiance gets nerfed into the floor, this may be pretty good. But in the meantime, I wouldn't run it. Hey, it looks really cool though. Nice design. Path of Burning Steps. Solar Fibos periodically grant you escalating bonus damage, and then you're harder to slow and freeze and stasis. So, cool. Needs to be changed. Not really the best thing to use, I would say. And then Abeyant Leaps. These are the best backup when the steps gets nerfed into the floor. This was the best in the last season when actually suspending was good. Right now, suspending targets is really bad. It's if you're going to use it on any of the classes for suspending, then I would say run it on a Titan, as Titans do the best with suspending anyways, and this will allow you to put those projectiles out. I mean, you get Woven Mail when suspending targets, so if you want Woven Mail uptime for more melees, cool. So if they nerf Symptom Steps, then maybe run this, but I would say probably still not really going to be your best option. So they're second in line for that. So let's review a little bit. For Void, you're probably going to run Second Chance or Doom Pauldrons. Second Chance first, Doom Pauldrons second. Strand, you want to run Syntheseps first. ACD Fence Back if Syntheseps get nerfed. And then probably Abeyant Leaps after that, or you can switch that between, ACDC or whatever if you need to situationally. For Solar, Syntheseps again if you're bonk camera combos, and then Pyrogales to swap for big damage. It'll definitely help you out because you want to, instead of be swinging your hammer all day, you're missing your other damage uptown, right? You want to make sure you have the most amount of damage uptime. You're shooting your rockets off as Pyrogale is doing its damage burning maul. So for Solar, Pyrogale is pretty good for a swap. Syntheseps are still going to be the best if you're running Bonk Hammer. Then after that, your Lorelai's Splendor is not going to be that bad for you. And then some of these, I would say Aeon Safe are always a good pick for swapping around. You can always, again, with Solar, use Aeons and Aeon Safe and then switch to Pyrogales if you wanted for your build. Not bad. Armamentarium if you're running grenade kickstarts. If you're not running grenade kickstarts, Heart of Most Light. And then after that, for boss damage, you'd run Caress of the Falling Star. I think the last one I'm missing is Stasis. And Stasis, I would say Hoarfrost here is not going to be bad for you. Or Cadmus Ridge Lance Cap for your Diamond Lances. But everyone steals your Diamond Lances every time they're up. They're like, everyone just takes them and runs away with them. So it's probably better off to use the Hoarfrost and then go from there. So let me know in the comments below if you like a certain exotic, if you got a certain build you think is absolutely amazing that I didn't touch on, and let me know if I'm wrong in the comments below. I'd love to know if I'm missing something, if I not using an exotic exactly correct, and you guys are like, this is the best absolutely ever, and you're just like, you're missing it, Prime's like, okay, I'll give it a go, try it out. But as always, I hope you have a fantastic day.